Some weird ambient music. How's it going? Happy Saturday. Quiet day here. All right. Well, this is episode 341, Digital Iliad. Oh, smoother than a second over on YouTube today. How's it going? All right. We're working on an FTL-like game. We're working on a couple of FTL-like games, I guess, at this point. In Godot, FTL meaning FTL faster than light. It's funny that it's an acronym that refers to a game whose title is itself an acronym that, that includes the elucidation of the acronym. It's confusing. That was wrong of you? Oh no. I don't know. The viewing experience on YouTube is probably better. There's no ads. It's 4K. Chat latency is pretty bad, but I will say that the biggest chat latency is right here. The platform chat latency is much lower than the amount of time it takes me to look over at the chat window and react. All right. So we're working on one of our FTL-like games. We're working on Lo-Fi Flyby, which I guess I'm going to start calling FTL meets Firefly or something like that. People are saying I need an elevator pitch for this one particularly, something like that. So we're working on our capsule art. We spent a lot of time the last couple of days going through like the Steamworks documentation, their rules around store graphical assets. There's these. We only have to do the first 5. We'll probably do the first 6. One of which is 5 things. So that's 10 things. It's really good that it's not 11 things. We can skip the bundle images. These are indeed not required unless you set up a bundle, which we don't care about at the moment. So 10 things. These 5, and then 5 of these. 5 screenshots, 4 capsule art pieces, and then a page background, which we are gonna, for what we're doing, we're gonna make it as part of the capsule art. We're actually gonna make 6 pieces, 5 screenshots, 1 capsule art. We got 80 days to do it because the game plan is to get a Steam page up in Q2 of this year. The game trailer in Q3, I think, is going to be a bridge too far for us, but just looking at what's involved in the Steam page. But you know, we'll see. I want to at least hit the Steam page as soon as possible. The game trailer I can live without for a time. But yeah, Steam page. That's our objective. We broke down our requirements to get a coming soon, quote unquote, store presence, which is what they call it. I guess your store presence has like maybe different requirements under release. I don't understand how it works. It's a little convoluted. This being my first time, you know, going through the Steam stuff. But yeah, we're going to make a capsule art piece. We need to make a header capsule, a small capsule, main capsule, and a vertical capsule. These are all framings. These are all going to be framings of of one piece of art. They're all at crazy different resolutions. We need 5 screenshots. I think I kind of have an idea for the 5 different screenshots. I'm thinking something like a capsule-like, so kind of like our capsule art piece, but an exterior cutaway so you can see the whole ship. And then maybe that same shot, maybe we just do screenshot 1. Or we do the same ship view from screenshot 1 and we put the game in like desktop companion mode, which is going to be the like semi-transparent, like alpha cutout version of the game that just kind of sits in the corner of your desktop window. and is like repositionable and resizable and stuff, like Ropica. Like Ropica's Idle Island. Screenshot 3, maybe. Well, maybe we reorient 3 and 4. And the ordering doesn't matter. I want to do like a galactic trade / navigation menu, which is just the top level map where you get to like pick different places to go and like stuff to trade. I think I'll have it be like when you pick a place to go, you pick what you're trying to like buy or sell at the same time or something, just so we don't have like separate menus. And the game needs to pick those if you don't. So there needs to be like a default, and then if you decide to engage with that system, you can like do better or something like that. It'd be cool if stuff came up impromptu occasionally of like, maybe you're on your way somewhere else and your sensors are like, we have detected a derelict spaceship. Do you want to check it out? Have fun stuff like that. So if you're not paying attention, maybe you just like drift past it. Have fun stuff for people who are engaged, but make the game kind of ambient and idle for people who don't. The mission could be a bit more interactive for like 5 minutes if you choose to interact. Maybe. That's the trick. That's the trick. I want the player to be able to make choices, but I don't want you to be able to like influence outcomes once you've chosen. Because I think for these purposes, a situation like have the default be the safe option all the time. Exactly. But it should be the sort of thing that like if you choose to go aboard a derelict ship, maybe you can make one more choice. If you can be like, we're leaving, or you can be like, attach the hull and like, you know, open the airlock or whatever and go aboard the other ship. And then once something like that is triggered, that should just occur. Like you connect the airlock, you open it up, the player character, like the crew member, like one or more crew members go over there and check it out. Maybe some scripted stuff happens. Same thing if you have like, if you get boarded, because it also makes sense that it could happen where like you get boarded and like maybe like scriptable events should be able to occur, but the player should not really be able to influence the outcome of the scriptable events, which means like you aren't able to like reposition your character or do shit like that. Not in this game, I don't think. In the full game, sure, because that's the game. But this is designed to be a little bit more of an ambient thing. But anyway, screenshot 4, I'm thinking of like maybe just a moving stuff around the cargo hold kind of shot. It could be cool. And then screenshot 5, maybe a customization unlocks purchase menu, just where you can see all of the different things you can unlock. Hey, Imperial, how's it going? Happy Saturday. And then page background. This will be part of the capsule art. It's not technically, but that's how we're going to be implementing it. It's optional. Reverts defaults to a random screenshot. We learned that. If you don't actually implement it. And then the written description is funny. There's only 2 things. There's a short description and an about this game section, which we probably will want some GIFs for eventually, but we'll probably start real small. Hey, the nerds. Turd Eater nerds. It's good to see you. How are things going in the nerd castle? Or is it a nerd cave? Maybe it's both. But yeah, we're working on this. What we kind of did yesterday is we kind of agonized over... We decided we were kind of take their suggestion here, which is like you make one piece. Like you'll notice that these are all one piece, just cropped and framed differently. I decided to take them up on that. It seems like a good approach. So we'll make one piece. The reach for us is that we're going to make this page background be part of the same shot. So we'll probably have a background element that's like the upper half of the image that's like stellar stuff. Just stellar nonsense is what I'm going to call it. Ooh, stellar nonsense. It's a good name. Yeah, that does sound bad. You're thinking like a hobbit hole, but for nerds, the nerd hole. Yeah, that's something else. That's good. That's good. I like the name Stellar Nonsense all of a sudden. Maybe if I was making more of a hitchhiker's guide kind of thing, I could frame my stuff that way. But yeah, we're gonna get to work. What we did yesterday, we set this up. We did this silly thing where we like picked a frame size. We went by like how big is Ripley. Don't confuse the director. But like how big is Ripley? And we picked a framing that was like that worked for that. Goodbye, Ripley. And then what we did is we like sized down the different framings for the capsules. I'm arbitrarily positioning them at the moment, but so we've got like the header. This first one's the header. This one's like the small, which I think is gonna be really cropped tight. The main capsule, the vertical capsule will use most of the space, and then the page background will be in the back. I think this is a moderately efficient idea or approach. Bundle assets frame we can forget about for now. But it would probably make sense to figure out what the framing would be, even if we don't make any of them. Rip Ripley. Ripley's died a few times, I think, canonically. It's confusing. Hey, Rhiannon, how's it going? Happy Saturday. You're going good today, nerds? Today you learned more about multi-meshes. You got the FPS up from 60 to 100. Ooh, nice. Yeah, multi-mesh is pretty cool. Multi-mesh is cool. That was definitely an approach I could have taken with the art for this, and I did not. All right. Sorry for my canvas being just so goddamn bright. I guess what I do now is I'm going to scale the bigger canvas here down to the correct size. So it's 80 by 90, which if that sounds small, it is. And then I can undo this white background. If it sounds small, it's because it is. Let's break this up into like thirds, maybe. No, I can't do sideways thirds, so let's just do 40 for this and 30 for this. Yeah. Let's pay attention to the vertical thirds, maybe, but maybe less so about the horizontal thirds. I just need some center lines to have some idea of what I'm doing here. All right. So first things first, let me get Ripley and Jonesy up here. So the idea of the primary composition is it's going to be some version of Ripley. I don't actually have a favorite outfit yet. This one's pretty good, I guess. Actually, maybe I like this one. Yeah, if I'm being honest, I like this one. Stick with this for the moment. It's going to be Ripley like seated at like their pilot seat. We have a pilot seat. We have one of these, so I'll probably just draw this. I mean, I could go get this. I haven't opened the source image for this in so long. Your favorite is crop top Ripley? Yeah, it's mine too, if I'm being honest. I also like the stripe. For some reason, it breaks it up visually for me. This is also good. I think the kind of this center stripe is like adds some to the gender recognition a little bit. I realized early when I was drawing this out, I was like, how do I not make this just look like Robert Plant? Or Jimmy Page or something. How do I not just end up with Icarus? which is fine. I think that's a fine read. Yeah, this is also, if I'm being honest, probably my favorite. Hey, Sapphire, you can't stay today either. No worries. I really appreciate you popping in. The fact that you can't stay makes it extra special that you rarely fail to pop in. I appreciate the effort. I hope you have a good weekend. All right, we're gonna make this capsule art today, I guess. What else can I open here that I need to look at? Jonesy. You know what I wish I had put more effort into? The ship layout. I've been messing around with the layout, but I haven't finished anything. Lo-fi layout small. So here's like the shittiest sketch. Let me get rid of the grid. This is my idea for like the basic thing. I think I need to move the cabin forward and then have maybe some kind of hallway space or something. 'Cause I think what I want is like I think I want an airlock on the sides. But this is the basic idea, is there will be like a cargo bay down here and like a living quarters / like flight control, like a cab up here. We'll achieve the basic Firefly-like silhouette. The fact that this is elevated up means it's like somewhat out of the way of the cargo bay, but I think we could do even better. I think we could make this even higher, move it forward, have some room for something in the middle, like a hallway or something that can branch off. Got to keep going. You're on 91 days today. Yeah, that's incredible. Correction, you'll be at 92 once it counts. This is for Steam page artwork? Yes. Yes, it is. We're working on our capsule art piece. So it's going to be Ripley seated at the controls with Jonesy. Kind of up here at the forward cabin. And then where is this ancient piece of art? Is it this? No, it's not. What's the Zenith version of this look like? I mean, it looks good. I'm thinking of switching to the Zenith 241 palette for lo-fi. Highly tempted. Radiant Plus is pretty cool though. I honestly might use a couple different palettes. Ooh, blue. Which one's the blue one? Is it this one? Oh, the blue uniforms or something. Yeah, these are all cool in their way. They don't all work, but they're all cool. Although, I might think about this in the context of a chair. Chair here is a little more teal. I'm actually okay with that. Don't mind you, you just like blue. Blue is my favorite color. I think blue is pretty good. I think green is overrated. I also might be slightly colorblind. It's the jury's out. But blue is the GOAT, that's for sure. It's weirdly one of the colors that arises last when primitive societies are coming up with words for colors, which is so weird to me. I would imagine it's like one of the first ones. But my understanding is it's actually like red and green and often and sometimes yellow even comes first. Head out. Oh, you're heading out? All right. See you, Sapphire. Have a good weekend. Appreciate you. All right, where's the actual one of this file? Is it this? Yeah, okay. Haven't looked at this in a million years. I love all my little duder silhouettes for when I was like putting the guys in the chairs. Oh, maybe we're gonna bring this little robot back. Maybe we bring the robot, the little robo guy back. I do like this little robot. I was thinking about making more like purpose-built robots. So like you'd have a cargo loader that like looks kind of like a forklift or something. Or you have a repair bot that looks like a welding kit or something. But maybe it'd be cool to also have a little generalist who can like do a little bit of everything. Yeah, he reminds me of Haiku from what do you call it? Rusty's Retirement. Oh, maybe this is the version of the chair I take. I do like the warm and cool combo. My only question is, should the chair be like reclining? All right, what the hell layer is this on? Good blocking. Is there anything else from this that's useful? I think just the chair. Apparently some languages have the same name for green and blue. That's interesting. I could see that. Little robot would be cool also. Yeah, I do like that little silhouette for some reason. He's just a little cube. Like, he's literally just like a little cube. Get our own Cubert. I do like Cubert. We'll have to keep Cubert in mind. Cubert would be very easy to animate. Maybe a little hard to locomote, but who knows? We'll see. All right, so yeah, my only real question is, I kind of want to use like this chair, but would it be better if the chair like reclined? What would that look like? I guess we figure that out. I guess that's a question we can answer. We'll probably have a console or something in front of her. I guess that's the other question. This chair is like not in perspective. I don't think I could make a chair in perspective, but we could try. We could certainly try. I think of this as being in like 2-point perspective or whatever. I don't know how to phrase it, but you can see the sides of the chair. You just can't see the top or bottom of it, which I think is good. I think it's a nice like in between the side-on nature of the characters and the diametric view of the environment. I think it's like a good in between. Hey, Nix, thanks for the hydrate. Hi and bye. All right. You're not gonna miss your streak. All right, take it easy, Nix. Thanks for stopping by. Got to change the radio. Oh, I just scratched my nose. I'm gonna sneeze. I don't know what the replacement colors for the chair are going to be. I'm not going to terribly worry about that right now. Let's pick... Let's just pick something. What would be good? What would be good? I like her colors. She's got this Diana, God, I'm such a poser. Deanna. She's got these Deanna colors. A maroon kind of deal. Would go good with that. One of these like kind of subtle greenish gray colors. Doesn't really matter. Actually, I'm going to start drawing with these, even though they're not in the palette. So what would this chair look like reclining? Because I kind of want her to be reclining. I actually don't know if I could draw her reclining even. Maybe reclining is not the right choice. All right, I also need one of those silhouettes here. What posture would she have? Probably something like this. And then I want Jonesy to either be in her lap or be like on the console next to her. You have to have a random chance of the character doing the Riker maneuver when sitting down. Have you seen these chairs? That's insane. Maybe if the chairs were more like this. Maybe if the chairs were more like... low back or something. I think I will do low back chairs in practice. In most cases. Maybe you could Riker maneuver over this. This is still like the height of most people's legs. Not most people's, but like my character's. What's her leg length? 7. It's longer than the length of her legs. But it'd be cool if you had a larger character and they just Rikered over a chair. Kick that leg up high. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. That would be pretty funny. I'm sure that will happen. I'm sure we will get to that. But yeah, I think retroactively, after I saw this, I think for this piece it's okay. But I think in actuality, these should have been low back chairs. Maybe the captain, you let him have his like high back chair or something. But like, I think it was ultimately kind of, for this piece, it's fine. But I think for the game, you would not want high back chairs like this, especially if you could see the backs of them. I think you would, in reality, want something more like this. But for what we're talking about here, I think the high back chair is good. What did I do? There we go. All right, how are you going to sit? Probably like this, but without the left arm doing this. Well, no, I don't think you'll actually be able to see their legs. I think there's going to be a computer or something in front. Some kind of console. Probably in front. A grayish green back chair would be for the best. We'll start with this and then decide. This might be too green and not gray enough. How did these even look? I shouldn't have done the two-tone one. I should have grabbed this one. Wait, what? Oh. Hey, Scotty Flops. How's it going? How goes the grind? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. We've entered what I'm calling a screenshot driven development phase, where we're spending our time. We figured out what we need to do to get the different art needed for like a Steam page, and we're working on that predominantly right now. We're pushing for that. So we're making the capsule art right now. Kind of put all the systems driven development stuff on the back burner a little bit. Just trying to get some of this content going. How's it going? How's it going with you? We'll start with this. How far are these jumps? Okay, so it's seat, shadow, front of this. Nope. Okay. Paint by numbers here. Probably won't keep that, but at least it's in the palette now. Yeah, part of me really wants to try to like recline this chair. We definitely need a reclined version of the chair. I just think for the framing of the capsule art, we don't want that. So we want is Ripley seated. Let's maybe block it out. What silhouette would be good to start with? I think I kind of want this, but without the like man spreading. So interestingly, the characters sit in such a way that they're like in front of the cushion here, not on it. Does that kind of line up? If their legs are normally standing 7 pixels tall, they become 5 pixels tall when seated. Does that feel proportional? I feel like it does. Do they like look short or anything? I guess they don't. I feel like someone would have brought it up if they did. I don't know if I feel like they feel short. I think they feel okay. How about the one leg on the other knee pose? That could be good. I don't think you're going to be able to... I think there's going to be like a console in front of them. But maybe it'll be like this. Maybe it'll just be part of a console. There's going to be a console. I kind of want Jonesy to be in the lap or something. I want Jonesy to be nearby. Part of the framing. You're good? Final start next week? 3rd year comp sci? Ooh, good luck. You know way more about comp sci than I do. It's a good idea, Arneo. How's it going? Happy Saturday. I think this is the most effective pose I have of Jonesy so far. So I think this in their lap could be good. It would probably be reversed. Or it could be them like lying on the console. Should also be good. Not quite sure. But I want them in it. I want them in the frame. A little hard because they're very dark. So I have to make sure they don't accidentally overlap with like Ripley's hair or something. So I think their skin, I think the fur of Jonesy and the hair of Ripley is the same color. It is. It's a bit of an issue. I didn't have the resolution to make Jonesy the canonically correct ginger cat. So we're doing our best. More of like a Lucy. Ending up with more of like a Lucy. Alright. I don't love this green, but I can probably mix colors. I like this better. Might do both. Might do a mix. I probably want to do something warmer rather than something green. I really kind of like the two-tone here. I might end up doing something similar. Do we have like a warm? We do. It's way too saturated. Your Saturday's been pretty happy one, actually. Nice. You were inspired to tinker with music again? That's great. For how small a resolution it is, it's one good-looking chair. Thank you, nerd. Thank you. Yeah, it's surprisingly coherent chair. I think the biggest problem with it from a practical standpoint, and I mentioned it earlier, was the high back. I think the high back is in practice unusable because it's like way too hard to tell if someone's actually in the chair. But I like it. And I really like the two-tone. The like... You can see the warmth in the shadow. This is kind of what I want to recreate. I'm using a different palette, so it's a bit challenging, but I think I'm getting close. Something like that. Something like this. Not necessarily exactly this, but this is what I want to suggest. Guess the high chair could only be for the people in the center. Yeah. The captain and such. It's not a Star Trek specific thing, but yeah. It's like, it's the trio. It's like the officers or whatever you want to call it. Compared to the red shirts. Command crew, whatever. Okay, so something like this. Get Ripley there. I don't know if these colors all work. Maybe want something a little greener for this. Whatever, who cares? Should probably be putting these on different layers. Especially if I want to reframe things. I'll burn that bridge when I get to it. Yeah, the resolution that I'm working with is small. It's always very small. Like this whole thing is going to be 80 by 90. I find it a godsend. I find it's the thing that gives me traction with my art. All right, so where's the head? Like where does the head fall here? Just below the top. Oh. Oh no, I do have that. So just below the top. Okay, that's actually helpful. A little bit challenging here. Oh, should I try to do something cool where she's like kicking up her leg or something? My problem is my characters are pretty stiff. They're pretty stiff and upright. She has no legs. So it's kind of hard to do anything else. How are these guys done? Purple's not really working. Should I give her like boots like I gave these guys boots? We like the boots. I like the boots. I like the boots. Turns out I like the boots. Here we go. You gotta try and do like a lotus pose. That's funny. I gotta try a bunch of stuff with my characters that I've just not had time for. How much shorter does a person get when they're sitting down? They bend at the knee, so they lose about half their leg height. So I think the fact that my characters only lose 2 pixels of leg height is pretty accurate. I think it's actually maybe a little conservative even. Well, no, they have 4 left. That seems fine. That seems fine. Okay, so how would we fit Jonesy into this? I think Jonesy's too big to just be in her lap. And I also think their colors are too similar. Like, I think Jonesy needs to be, like, on the computer console. On the computer console or in her lap. Maybe not this version of Jonesy. Maybe, like, this one. This doesn't read very well. Doesn't help. What am I going to do with her hands? I can't just put her hands in front like that because of the crop. But I could hide that with a console. On the console makes a lot of sense. Maybe a cat bed. No, they need to be super tightly framed together. Because we need to consider something like the small capsule, which will be really small. It'll be just like the two of them, and then like just enough room to spell out like, you know, like lo-fi, flyby, you know. You know. Right, this is already like too tight. I don't think I drew my F correctly. But yeah, it's gonna be tight. I don't have to have the text at the same resolution, but I feel like I have to have the text at the same resolution, if you know my meaning. Yeah, if you got, you know. I don't know why I'm saying it that way. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, describing it like it's an innuendo or something. For the bigger headers, you know, we could do something where the text is above and we can see a lot more. The text could be bigger. I'm willing to make the text bigger. Like, I'd be willing to have the text at, like, double resolution so that we could say something like, you know, lo-fi. You know, like, big. I guess I should make some, layers for that, huh? New layer, we'll say title. They call it the logo, which is interesting to me. I guess logo means word, so that actually isn't bad. Or account. It doesn't literally mean word, but it's close. We'll say title large, and we'll do the title at large scale. Bring up the font just to have a little help here. The number of times I accidentally do my own font wrong is like shocking. Yeah, like that F. Like I was doing the F totally wrong. I was like, that doesn't look like my F. I honestly don't think we're gonna do anything much more clever than just the thing. Although I don't know why I'm making this yet again like the color of her hair. It should actually be white. The logo should be close to white. I actually don't know what the closest color I have here to white is. Start with this. Different color. All right, if the title isn't black and white, what color combination is it? Probably something like this. It's got a pop. Pop, pop. Pop what, magnitude? Pop what? I don't know if to give it a strong color or not. I think not, for now. We'll start with this. I find myself so often doing whatever I can to avoid doing something concrete. I feel like that's not an unusual thing, but I'm like, whenever I'm like, okay, I guess we're sitting down to do this thing now, I'm always like, shit. And I guess that's the difference between someone who does something and someone who just says they're going to do something. I don't want to be one of those people that just says they're going to do something. Lo-fi. Lo-fi. Fly by. Move this over by 1 pixel here. How's everyone doing, though? Happy Saturday. I don't know why I keep asking that. How many spaces between lo-fi and flyby? We'll start with this and see if we can afford it. My guess is we won't. Actually, I probably want to be able to space them separately, huh? So we'll say title, lo-fi, large. We can say then, or we could say title, large, lo-fi. And in this layer, we could have the title, large, flyby. The hell layer is this on? Why can't I erase this? Oh, because I'm on snap to grid. Not the consequences of my actions. I'm gonna say logo. Logo, large, lo-fi. Not logi. God damn it. Get it together, Dave. You're the opposite, Arneo. You hate planning. I love planning. I love just moving things around. And not actually having to commit to anything. All right, the big F. 3, then the little branch. And 2. Lo-fi. I think the shadow is not dark enough. Let's go to the darkest one that I have here. Oop. That's better. This time next week, we will be deep into Ludum Dare. I'm concerned. I have concerns. I'm excited, but I'm also concerned because I've done this enough times to know what's going to be involved. But we got a couple more jams on the calendar, and I think then we're going to take a break for a while. We got a Ludum Dare 59 next weekend. And then in early May, we have Solo Development Jam number 11. This pixel is not here, right? It's like this. I ask myself, maker of the Digital Iliad typeface. So like this, because this looks kind of like shit. Nope, that's what it is. All right. All right. I'll probably pick better colors. I think the big issue with this rendition of the logo is the color selection is not good. At least I can just use the Y twice. Well, it'll fit So that's good. I actually wasn't sure if that would be the case. I probably should have, you know, checked that. We'll bring it over a little. Oops. Okay, so the large logo fits. So what we'd probably do, you know, for like the header, yeah, we include the large logo above the scene, and then we can include more stuff about the spaceship. So the thing I'm concerned about, and the thing that I might do that kind of cheats a little on our framing here, is I might compress the perspective a little bit. Like I might use less of, you know, this background isometric perspective. I might collapse the whole thing to be more side on. Toolbox, you choose a name for the game? Oh, we've known this name for a while. This is my side project. How's it going, Fullbox? I saw you working on Block Shop the other day. Blast from the Plast? God, Dave. Why am I an Ace Bright? I'm like, let me show you our roadmap. But yeah, Lo-Fi Fi-Bi is our side project that we're going off into to try to get something that I can, you know, release in the next, you know, couple of years. 18 months to a year or 2 years. It's like going to be an FTL-like kind of idle game. Kind of just my elevator pitch right now is FTL meets Firefly. So it'll be kind of a little idle game where like you're mostly doing like cargo runs or scavenging. Our default set of initial characters is a like, you know, lo-fi girl and her cat. So we're working out our capsule art, which is going to be center around our lo-fi girl and her cat. And then for like, I'm thinking the small capsule, we'll just frame it with the logo on each side and it'll be them. And then the large capsule will be more of like a spaceship scene down on the bottom and like maybe some stellar debris in the top. What did I call it earlier? Stellar nonsense. But right now I'm just checking to make sure that the logo fits. And it does, which is lucky. We were analyzing the Steam store page requirements, and we've worked out the art piece that we'll need to satisfy all these requirements. We're going the Half-Life Alyx route and just making a one piece. Low flyby. All right. You're finishing the port? That's awesome, Poolbox. Console port, right? Because you were doing console controls. Are you shooting for just like Xbox? Or are you doing the others too? You also don't have to indulge me in my questions. I'm just interested. I'm interested in any Godot developer's experience porting to console. So we probably move this down like this. You're doing Switch only for now. Okay. Yeah, how's that been? Have you managed? I assume you've been largely doing the code for that, or have you like? Are you working with like W4 Games or something on that, or anyone? Okay, so the large logo fits. Let's see if the small logo fits now. You're working with the porting company. You're still taking care of the controller and all. They're doing the optimization and stuff. Okay, cool. Nice. That's smart. Because it's tough. Ports are like the realm of publishers. Typically. It's really hard, I think, for a developer to do their own port. All right. Okay, so I already see a slight problem, which is that the small capsule frame is really small. But it's relative, so we could scale it up a little. As long as we maintain the aspect ratio. Now, this is kind of what I'm going to have for the small one, which is the logo with Ripley and Jonesy in between. I might even use a different pose of Jonesy. Like maybe in the small logo, Jonesy's just sitting in Ripley's lap or something. I might even simplify the background to make the read more clear. Because having the text be readable is going to be a little bit of a challenge against the backdrop of the ship. That's the other thing. And my biggest challenge with this piece is the perspective of the background. And I think I'm actually going to just ignore that. I think I mentioned it before, but I think I'm going to collapse most of the background into just side on for this. Like, we might not fully collapse it into side on, but I don't think I'm going to do this full. Because otherwise, all the interesting things will be off screen. And, like, if you want to see her through the canopy of the ship, which is my idea, is that you are looking at her through the pilot's canopy. That doesn't work in this perspective because the pilot's canopy will just be, you know, like if they're seated here, the pilot's canopy would be over here on the right. Based on kind of, I chose a long time ago to align it in perspective. I could have chosen not to do that. Like I could have had this be the front of the ship, like the nose. And actually that is, for this framing, I guess that is the suggestion of what's happening here. So we could also do that. Full box, you need this side quest to be short. You need to get back to scope creep. Yeah, you got to be creeping. Always be creeping. ABC. Makes you think of the dark side detective capsule. Okay, let's go find that. For one thing, that sounds really cool. Oh yeah, I've seen this. No, I might have to get this for my girlfriend. Especially because it's on sale. She loves these little detective games. Problem is she doesn't like puzzle games, and it's really hard to split these away from puzzles. Like this looks like it's going to be a puzzle game. Point and click detective pixel art graphics adventure funny. Ooh, maybe it's not. We love Duck Detective. Like we are a Duck Detective house. Duck Detective is amazing, and we need more games like it. And the fact that they're in a bundle with this game, the Dark Side Detective, is a good sign for me. But yeah, okay, I see what you mean about their small. Oh, this looks good. This communicates a lot. They have their logo on the left and then the character on the right, which is smart. I think what I'm going to do is have the character between the two halves of the logo. I think that's easier framing for me. My conundrum is that the resolution of these capsules is so small that maintaining the crispness of my pixel art is like non-trivial, which is why we're doing all of this in such a small canvas. Detective without puzzle, impossible, I know. At least, Duck Detective is like Mad Libs or something. Yeah, she really likes things like Ace Attorney and stuff. She likes the characterizations. She less likes the whole. I mean, no one likes the whole. You've got like a spool of rope. How do you combine a rope, a horseshoe, and the nuclear launch codes into something that can open this door? Like, there's a reason point and click adventure died. I feel like it was an earned death. She played Shadows of Doubt. Hey, Mootsie. Definitely not. Shadows of Doubt. All right, I'm actually gonna put this. I'm gonna save that for later. Shadows of Doubt. Ooh. This has this is also on sale. Oh, I think I've seen this game because it's kind of like, it's got this kind of Blade Runner-y, kind of voxelized kind of look. I know it's not, it doesn't look like it's in the future, so saying Blade Runner is stupid. Neo-noir. Or maybe neon noir. Is neon noir a genre? Because I feel like it should be. Or a descriptor. Ooh, I like this. I like all these voxels. I think she would hate this, but I think this is neat. I think I've studied this game for its environment before, but I've never played it. Oh. Okay, this is good. I'm going to keep this in mind, though. Ooh, it's an immersive sim. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Procedurally generated stuff. This seems really interesting. I also feel like I need to play Astronauts. I feel like Astronauts has some lessons for me. I heard that the talk from the Astronauts dev I was interested in. It's a super detective-y game. I'll check it out. Cloudpunk was more Blade Runner. Oh yeah, Cloudpunk. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. That was similar. That was similar. Okay, we're on a tangent. It's not dead. Have you heard of the Drifter? I have heard of the Drifter. I'm not saying point and click is dead. I might have said that. What I meant is point and click died. It's not that it's a dead genre, it's that it died. It came back, but it definitely also died. Yeah, the Drifter looks sick. I've studied this for its art. This is incredible. I'm saying point and click. The point and click adventure genre very rightfully died. But yeah, I'm actually totally fine with it being resurrected. Because people seem to have learned the lessons. Some of the lessons. This is sick. I love this kind of art. My girlfriend doesn't love this kind of art. But she's a real artist, so she's like... I say a real artist, she's like a trained, like, professional artist. She has opinions about art that I don't understand. I'm just like, I see pixel and I'm like, ooh. I see chunky pixels and I'm like all in. It died, it was reborn, died again multiple times. Yeah, right. Exactly. Point and click is dead. Long live point and click. This looks sick, though. This looks sick. And it's out now. What she is playing, what she does like, is Locomotive. She's been playing Locomotive. Locomotive is good. But that's because we also love murder mysteries. We're like all about like Agatha Christie in this house. So this kind of shit is like really great. Oh my god. Yeah, she's been playing this game. I enjoy it. Locomotive. Good stuff. Fluid anim. Yeah, it's really good. I think it's a high enough resolution where she's enjoying it. And the fluidity of the animation is really good. Okay, so here's a first thing. I should probably not do the chair in the same color that I'm doing the logo in. That would be first thing I should probably not do. Is that how I do my Y? Does it curve like that at the end? Yes. Okay. Would it be better if it was like, if it like extended down a little more? It probably would be, but I think I didn't do that for a good reason. Okay, no, it's not better. How are you doing, Mootsie? Full box. The Drifter's amazing. It's easily in your top 3 favorite point and click of all time. Okay. I will see about getting her to play that. I have a hard time figuring out what she's gonna like and what she won't like. It's surprisingly difficult. Like, I never expected her to like go all in on like medieval Dynasty, but she did. And now she's playing like Kingdom Come Deliverance, and I'm like, I don't know. Who are you? Who is this person? It was like so out of left field. It's so funny. I don't even know which games I'm going to connect with nowadays, honestly. I'll play a game that I'm pretty sure is in my wheelhouse and I won't connect with it, and I'll play something else and I'll be like, oh, this is it. This is the shit. All right, so does this fit? Not really. So what I'll probably do is just scale up the small capsule a little bit. I think I picked this resolution for a reason, but maybe I didn't. Oh yeah, I picked 40 by 15 for a very specific reason, which is not gonna work out here, huh? Well, let's burn that bridge when we get to it. So we have the 2 pixel version of the logo and the 1 pixel version of the logo, and we'll figure all the rest of it. All right, so first things first, figure out what the heck I'm gonna do with this chair. They're blurring together in a way which is problematic. I probably shouldn't have made them the same color. I think I'm gonna need to have Jonesy on like the computer console or something. She's also just big. She's also kind of big. I'm realizing. The Maine Coon of Space Cats. Like, she's too big to just be seated on her lap here, right? Yeah, getting distinction, being able to distinguish them is going to be challenging. think I need to put Jonesy on like a computer console. I like whatever weird medieval nonsense is going on here. Okay, so for first things first, this chair does not read well. Don't do that. Let's start over with this. I mean, this doesn't read better. This chair reads well when the characters aren't really in the way. Like my little fascist bald little space duders. Pop quiz. Which actor is the best portrayal of Poirot? Arneo asks. Mutzi responds David Suchet. The correct and only valid answer. If you say Kenneth Branagh, which I know his name is pronounced differently. If you say him, you are at risk of being banned from the at least you will at least be timed out at a minimum. If you say Kenneth and his double-decker mustache. You've never really been exposed to the older ones? Yeah, I haven't seen a lot. I've seen a lot more portrayals of Marple. I've seen at least like 3 or 4 portrayals of Marple. I haven't seen the Ustinov movies. I want to watch more of the Ustinov movies because it's my jam. That's like my era of filmmaking that I like. And I haven't seen them. So I want to go back and watch a lot more of the Ustinov films. I want to watch his versions of like Death on the Nile and Evil Under the Sun, especially. Yeah, Suchet is all you need. Did Ian McShane play Poirot at some point? I would have such a hard time believing that. I like Ian McShane. Oh, he did the IT. Oh, he was not. He was Mr. Book anyway, but he was in a version on Murder on the Orient Express. Oh, he played Mr. Book in Suchet's version? Clearly, I don't remember that. I watched Ian McShane in a movie recently. He was very good in it. It was Sexy Beast. The Ray Winstone, Ben Kingsley film. The 2000 comedy crime. It's not a comedy, but it's like they call it like a black crime film, kind of like Snatch or Lock, Stock. Sexy Beast. That's a good one. Ian McShane is like the third. Ian McShane's in it along with Ray Winstone and Ben Kingsley, and that is an underrated film. Especially Ben Kingsley's performance. So good. Pi, I love that film. Kind of unrelated. Oh, okay. Arnie's got another question. The better Marple, Geraldine McEwen or Julia McKenzie? Oh, PI, I see. Private investigator. Okay. I thought we were talking about, like, the student film Pi, and I'm like, that is incredible. I'm like, Ian McShane is not in that. But I love that film as well. My mother always told me never to look into the sun. One day I did. Boom, boom, chop, chop, boom, chop, boom, chop, chop, boom, chop. I was tempted to start my stream by invoking that film at the beginning of every episode, of like listing out the time, being like 1:31 p.m. restate my assumptions. Oh yeah, I was answering that question about who had the better Marple adaptation. That's tough. That's tough. It's not Angela Lansbury, even though I love Angela. My favorite is Geraldine McEwen, but I actually really like the other woman's, Julia McKenzie's portrayal. I think Julia McKenzie is like really solid. I think I prefer Geraldine McEwen. I've been watching some of the older 80s ones. The Joan Hickson ones. Those are also good. When you look in the sun, you sneeze. Is that a thing that... Is that like from a void comp test, or is that something that actually happens? You looked in the sun, Leon. You sneezed. Why did you sneeze, Leon? I'm all over the place today. If it's not clear, I'm incredibly tired. I can't get this chair to look right. I think it's Ripley's fault. I think her pose is weird. I think her upright pose is like too stiff. So what if we took... So I'm just going to take this because I have one of these. I don't think this is what we would use. I have one of these consoles, so this is what we'll use. I'm going to use the dark version of it, maybe. When you look in the sun, you sneeze. It happens to you all the time? Interesting. I only look in the sun for a moment, so... Where did I position the console for... Oh, I didn't use the big version. I used the little ones. Oh, okay. I closed something. That was fine. So where did I position these? Like this? Okay. So it was like one of these. So if I do like one of these. Like this. If I did like that, and then I had Jonesy like up on here or something. Don't think that totally works. Maybe it works. Maybe it works okay. Problem is that this console is like in perspective, which we said we weren't going to really do. I kind of like them just staring at each other like this. Okay, so that's the problem. That's the problem for my representation here, is I don't think I can actually use the in perspective versions of these things. I think I'll have to like make totally flat side-on version of the console especially. I also don't think your arm should be here. I think I want something more like this. Be like this. Maybe. Kind of want her to be like petting Jonesy somehow. You know, you'll know it's a chair from the other chairs around it. That won't work. This is going to be like a single pilot cockpit. And even if there were more chairs, like a co-pilot seat or something, I don't think you'll necessarily be able to see it. Although that would be an interesting framing, where you have like it's the two pilot seats, and like Ripley's in one and like Jonesy's in the other one. Maybe, I don't know. That could also work. Arneo, correct again. Geraldine captured perfectly the unassuming but sharp granny that takes no shit and survived a war. I need a different haircut or something. Something like this. Something like this. This is way wider than we have room for. Unless I bring this like up a lot. I want like a really tight framing for them. This is close. No, I can't read that at all. Some regrets. Some regrets making Jonesy be this like Lucy-like black cat. I really want her to be sitting on Ripley's lap. Oh god, your arm, Ripley. I don't remember what color was here. It's fine, it doesn't matter. How do these stupid chairs look? Like that. I don't love this pixel. I don't know what color is here. Hey, bad cop. How's it going? Put Jonesy on top of the headrest. That's not a terrible idea. Except that her hair and Jonesy's fur is the same color. Which is maybe a mistake. We have this kind of fan theory that Jonesy is actually not a cat, but like a shapeshifter. So we could have like other versions of Jonesy. That would be funny. In the same way that you could have other main characters, except for Jonesy, it's like a weird shape-shifting thing. How's it going, bad cop? Which part of the level editor is this for? Not at all. We've totally switched gears. We're trying to make the piece of art that we're going to use for all the different capsules. Right now, we're kind of fixated on something that would be viable for the small capsule. That's kind of what we're currently fixated on. The small capsule is crazy. It's like 120 by 45. And it's compressed. So yeah, we're taking the Half-Life Alyx approach of making this big vertical piece that we can then crop into and reframe. How's it going, bad cop? Trying to get something done before Ludum Dare next week. Hey, Cake Hug. Happy Saturday. How are you doing? Yeah, this is kind of what we've pivoted to what I'm calling screenshot-driven development. And we're trying to make a framing that works for the small capsule, which will be about this big. I made this tall canvas, and we've highlighted all the different framings for the different pieces, and we're trying to make one piece of art that kind of works for all of them. With a couple different versions of the logo. So we have a big version of the logo, and then we have a small version of the logo. So the idea is it's the two characters sitting at like the cockpit of the ship, and then you'll have like a little bit about the outside of the ship, and then maybe some stellar stuff in the background. It's the idea. We're just getting started. Jonesy on the headrest is an interesting idea, but yeah, I would need to recolor Jonesy to be like a lighter color or something. But that's actually not a terrible idea if I was able to communicate it correctly. I might need to just recolor Jonesy to make this work. They're supposed to be a ginger cat anyway. I just didn't feel like I could do anything more than a solid coloration for them. I also don't know what to do with her arm. It's weird. Ludum Dare, what a kid meme. I'm still doing it. I have to prove to myself that I can do it. I only managed to do it once, and it was my first time ever doing a jam, and I feel like it was beginner's luck. So I want to do at least one more. I can only ever do the spring one anyway, so it's going to be a crazy 48 hours. I only got into Ludum Dare recently, so I don't think I have as much, I'm not going to say baggage. I don't think I have as much experience with Ludum Dare, so it's the stuff that Mike does that just constantly pisses everyone else off. I don't totally have a strong opinion about. But I get it. I totally get it. It seems like that announcement has helped Down to Jam a lot. Seems like the Down to Jam comment on that news post has really grown the community, which is good. Which is only good. All right, what am I going to do with Jonesy? At their feet is interesting. It's a little problematic, but actually that's an interesting idea. I don't think the reed is very strong, but that's my fault, and I could fix that. There's other versions of Jonesy we could use as well. I like this one. This is one of my favorites. I like this pose. Yeah, I think I just haven't done enough to distinguish their coloration for this to make sense. Maybe this reads. I could give her pants a lighter color or something anyway. We could do a lot with the colors here. I'm not happy with any of these colors. We could also fake stuff. Like, there's no reason we need to render her whole feet. Like, we could cut off the canopy window, like, here. Or even, like... Yeah, I kind of want part of her legs, I guess. Yeah, maybe I do want to see her legs. I think I'm reasonably happy with the arm placement. It's a little weird that there's flesh tone here, but not here. But I don't like that. I think that's weird. So maybe what I need to do is like this. For consistency, yeah, that's probably what I need to do. If I'm gonna do it like this. It's better. It's maybe even better. Post was wild. You're convinced Mike is just fully having a psychotic break now. Honestly, if I had been looking for a job for like 3 years or something, however long it's been, and unable to find one and interviewing the whole time, I would also be in the middle of a psychotic break. All right, so does Ripley need like a lighter pant color or something? Is this my fault? Or do I just actually need to try to make Jonesy like a ginger cat? I see, this kind of thing doesn't make any sense to me. I think a black cat is good. Obviously this is dumb, but I'm just like, I would try harder if I was actually going to do a ginger cat. I just don't see where I would distinguish the different color elements. Like, I'm not a good enough artist to do that. Have like a mix of colors here and like keep it consistent while animating it. The silhouette is just too easy. Just reading it based on the silhouette alone. But I do have a problem. Which is that none of this makes any sense. Maybe at her feet just is good. Could Jonesy be sitting on the title card? That would be pretty sick. Doesn't make... That's a little too... it's a little too outside of the universe kind of thing, maybe. I don't think people would get it. I think it would be weird. But yeah, I think I need some kind of console or something in front. I kind of want the alien style console. The Nostromo. I really like their way of doing the consoles. Nostromo ship interior. Space trucking. Yeah, I love this. Is this a whole article on the Nostromo? It is. I need to read this. This looks good. You must be doing something wrong. You don't know how it can be that hard to find a job. He's looking for a senior developer job. I think he's like, you know, knowing his worth a little too much. He also was like, I don't want a job from any company whose primary business is like harmful. Like, it sounds like he has a lot of hangups. I'm not saying it doesn't sound like he has a lot of hangups. Like he wants to stay, he won't work in Toronto or something. He definitely has standards, and you know, I get it. And he wants to, you know, he doesn't want to aim low. My nice thing is I couldn't get a senior job if I wanted one, so I wouldn't expect one, but... All right, where's the interior? Okay, so yeah, the interior, I really like the low consoles. I like the sweep back chair, and maybe that's what I need to do more of, if only to just differentiate it from Ripley maybe a little bit. I really like what they ended up with. Obviously, I don't have the resolution, but I love the tight, like, space trucker look. And I think that's kind of what we need to go for. Do they have any more shots of the consoles? Yeah. I like the low-res beep boop. Not low-res, but you know what I mean. Like, big, bright lights, small screens, big, chunky console designs. I mean, I know it was the 70s, man. Oh, it's Geiger. Geiger has a Geiger. HR Geiger. Interior of the Nostromo was so believable. I hate these new-looking spacecraft. You feel like they're just built for the movie you're seeing. They don't look real. That's such a fair and common refrain. Like, L-Cars looks good, but L-Cars, a lot of thought and work was put into L-Cars, and it's still a little silly, but I want to do something mechanical. I want to do very mechanical heavy console and ship designs, because I've been playing a lot of Void Crew, and Void Crew has a very submarine look, and there's like big heavy switches, and there's like valves that you need to turn, and it's like this very mechanical, heavy duty design. And I'm like, I could do that, and I could do that in a way that looks understandable. You're guessing location's the hardest one. Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it is. I think when you live in San Francisco, you get like a warped idea of like where the jobs are, or like how easy it is to find different kinds of jobs. Because for me, everything feels so central, and it feels like there's all these possibilities around. But yeah, if you live in like St. Louis or something, probably harder to find something local. I don't know. I feel bad for him. He's clearly in a tough spot. Though I'm like everyone else, kind of annoyed that he's like, I would rather the ship go down with me. It dies with me. I get it, but I also don't love it. You know? I'm not going to criticize the guy. Here's another thing of just the interior of the Nostromo. What is this? Reddit? Gross. Where's the picture that I found? Yeah, this. Oh, this is them building it. That's sick. Well, not really building it, but this is like on-set photos. Yeah, how do we do anything like this in perspective? The flight chairs I like. It doesn't really matter. The contrast matters. Like, I think the chair needs to be darker. In which case, maybe Ripley needs to be lighter. Like, maybe the color choices here were a little wrong. Like, maybe her pants need to be like a much lighter shade or something. That's too light, but like, you know what I mean? Maybe they're not, maybe they shouldn't be just this full on. It's halfway between like that. Maybe that's sort of the deal I need to make here. I don't love that, but it will read better against a darker background, that's for sure. Well, I don't want to make it the same color as the logo. I don't want it to be that bright. It doesn't help me that, yeah, the the mid gray is weird. But yeah, I think this green is too close in value to the skin. I think I need to darken up the chair. Like if I size, if I color, if I go further down for all of these colors, what does that look like? You will criticize him. That's fair. I don't know much about him. Full box, a lot of layoff right now too. You feel like if you didn't have your game, you would freak out. That's fair. Yeah, we're job hugging. That's what they say, right? So this is this color. Hey, Commander, what's up? He compared himself to Linus Torvalds. I guess he did, huh? It's maybe questionable. This is better. We don't actually need this distinction as much as I think I do. So where are we putting you, Jonesy? Where do you work? Oh, you know what? Maybe I could put Jonesy like behind her feet or something. I don't think that's right though. I really want the lap, but I don't think I'm gonna have the lap. I think the best I could do is like a console in front of her. Still really not happy with the chair. Chilling, working on some music. Nice. Full box, can you try to put a background color? It's kind of hard to tell anything right now. It is kind of hard to tell anything right now. I don't know what the background color would be. Don't know what the background color would be, but I can pick one at random. From your view, he organized a community event. Now he's holding him hostage. Yeah, that does suck. Does suck. And like he said in his note, he's not like the first person to have done Ludum Dare or whatever. It was like Ludum Dare was died and reborn like multiple times or whatever. Okay, can I move this over by one? Does this fit in the small capsule? Not quite. So we actually need to move this over and this over. The small capsule size is kind of non-negotiable. So what we could do is put this down. Because this is supposed to be 45 pixels tall, And if I want it to look right, I need to do some kind of multiple of that. Well, I'm glad I didn't choose to do some kind of reclined version of the chair, because there's definitely not room. It's a question of what I'm going to do with all this other space. I guess we'll have, like, maybe some exterior of the ship around the outside or something. It really doesn't matter. The focus should be the two of them somehow. I just don't know how to fit both of them in here, along with the title. I think we're going to do that. I think we're just going to show the whole chair. Why not? This is really the only way I'm able to get traction on anything, is if I just kind of start it. Pick one thing, decide that one thing is fixed, and then just start working around that. Also, would the logo be behind or in front of? And also, should I just put it out to the edge, maybe? Maybe. The answer is a strong maybe. Okay, so maybe Jonesy actually goes underneath here. And so this is where I would fake the perspective. So maybe I like put her bed like back here. Like there's a scene of like her bunk, or like in like a maybe like an area to make food or something. I want to suggest a lived in space. And so I don't think we can do this perspective for this, because they're just, if you put something in the background, its Y changes, right? Like the further in the background you are, the further up it is. I think we need to compress that for this to make it look like it's all flat. He won't even let it die and be reborn. He's being like, it's gonna half sort of die in like 3 years. I don't know. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like the waffling. I think it would be fine if he was like, I mean, it wouldn't be fine, but like I would understand if he was like, Ludum Dare is over. I'm not doing it anymore, which he literally has already said, right? At various points. If he just killed it, that would be one thing. But I don't actually know the guy, so I don't want to be that harsh. I wonder if the logos are... Like, I wonder if the logo here needs to be just in front of her. Or behind her. Well, if we're just going to use this underneath spot, it would totally make sense to just do something else with Jonesy. We could also, because of the directionality, we could actually move everything over to like this. We could reframe it like this. I don't think I love that either. No, there isn't room for that, weirdly. It messes with the read. Hey. Thanks for the hydrate, Commander. Arneo, you feel like in the background should be a cockpit window? Interesting, because that, in my mind, that's going to be in the foreground. Like, we're looking at Ripley and Jonesy through the canopy of the ship. Hey, Vapid, how much progress have you made on the game so far? You've only seen the little cube room editor and cube pixel art yet. That's about what we got. About what we've got. You'll find in game development that you pursue a lot of avenues and then you either abandon them or you put them on the back burner of like, yes, we'll do that, or we don't need to do it right now. Or like, yes, we'll do that. So our current thing we're doing is we've kind of put all the systems development on the back burner, and we are refocused on what I'm calling screenshot driven development. Well, do I actually want this version? We're working on making a Steam page is what we're working on. That's not the right frame. So we're working on creating the art piece that we can use for all the different capsules, which is why we're framing this thing. Rhiannon, maybe in the background you can have her flight simulator rig. Like how some truckers have rigs for truck sims in their sleeper area. That's crazy. Truckers do that. Should you buy ludumdare2.com? That seems like a slippery slope. What about d2jam.com? Is that available? Sounds great. You're excited to see where it goes. Thanks. Me too, Vapid. We're working on kind of our side project version of the game. So our big main game is more of like a proper full FTL-like implementation. That's the idea. And it's more at like the scale of like a Star Trek kind of scale. What we're working on right now is a side project called Lo-Fi Flyby, which is like a space trucker, kind of like ambient, kind of idle, kind of little game. Kind of a lo-fi girl kind of deal. Which is why we've got our two characters, our Ripley-like character. I don't love these gray pants, but they were trying to differentiate her from the background. Kind of want to go back to her regular look. But what I want to try is what if we put... It looks like she's wearing sweatpants, which is like not the vibe that I want. I need to pick a darker chair color where she reads well against it. Let's get Jonesy in here somehow. I just don't know how. Now, there's another reason to have her pants be a lighter color is we could put Jonesy at her feet more easily. We could do this version of Jonesy. I don't think this version reads very well, though, unless you've already seen the other versions. We have a lot of space. We have a lot of space in this region. But I think this approximate framing is right. I think we should just probably go through and just try to work on more of the drawing as far as like deciding how much of this space is ship, how much of it is like outer space. So I almost want to, I should almost work on the layout a little more. Buy all the URLs. Appreciate you hanging out, Rapid. Appreciate everyone holding on to their ads here. So the basic idea I have for the layout, we talked about it before, but it's like probably some kind of forward cab area, and then probably some kind of background, lower down cargo area. I want to separate these a little more. And the easiest way to do that is to move it forward. Like I want to move it forward and then have maybe some kind of hallway behind here. So that there's like the cabin, then like a hallway, and in the hallway there might be like an airlock in the back and then like a ladder down into the cargo hold. I'm thinking that's what I want to do. And then honestly, that's a good framework for modularity too, for like if you want to add additions. Or maybe we have an engine room in the back or something that you can access through that hallway. Arnio, you mean with a hallway kitchen into bunks, you're most of the way toward the Firefly ship? That is not lost on me. But this is also the first version of the ship, so it should be small, and it's intended to be a single occupant ship. There will be a bigger version of the ship that's like way more Firefly, where we like move the pilot's area like way forward, add like a long hallway. I love their little like dipped down little bunks along the hallway. I don't know if I would do that per se, but do something. No, there will be some cool stuff that we'll do with the bigger version of the ship. But yeah, I think we need to move this forward a little bit. Excuse me. Should I put a grid under here? I probably should. Just for my own understanding. Oh Lord, why is that so large? Okay, so there's like barely any room here. So yeah, we're gonna need to take some liberties with how this is portrayed. Because I imagine her cabin being like maybe 5x5. No, 5x5 is too big. Maybe it should be just 3x3. Yeah, so I think the cabin is going to be like 3x3. This also needs to be behind this layer. Whoa. There we go. Okay, so there's kind of a grid. Why are we off a bit? Is this off center? It is, isn't it? What happens if I do this? Oh, you've forgotten. That's fine. Let's move all of this over by one. Bring it back to the center. I wonder if I'll put some of this stuff in the foreground ahead of the logo. That seems like bad form, but I might do it. Might do it anyway. You have spaceship design. You can kind of make spaceships look like anything you want. You kind of can. You're not limited by a lot of the same realities as like Earth terrestrial ships, right? I'm just having fun now. I like the idea of her on like the headrest. Jonesy's too big. Well, here's Jonesy kind of getting patted, which is kind of nice. Patted. I don't think it's great, but it's something. I don't love the continuation of the F here. But I could fix that by just raising this up a little. Have you considered just having the cat? No chair, no human, just cat. I think that would communicate maybe the wrong thing, but I think it would be cute. I think lo-fi girl without cat and cat without lo-fi girl would both communicate the wrong thing. This is close. I think it's a little hard to read the cat in this form, but that's like something that could be fixed. But I think from a I think compositionally, this is not terrible. We could also try get Jonesy out of here a little bit. Also try this version. I don't love this version. I might also need to come up with a different pose. Yeah, I do not love our sweatpants. This isn't terrible either, something like this. I don't think it reads super well, but boy. This, or even closer so that they're touching, I think is nice. Like, this is an option. This is maybe an option. So these are a couple of options. I could also conceivably do... Can you try something, full box? No, I'm not stopping you. Hey, Vapid, you really do like this ortho perspective. It feels more solid and intimate than FTL somehow. You can imagine the combat with everyone running around in semi 3D is going to look great. Yeah, that is the hope. That is definitely the hope with this. I think there is a depth. Obviously, there is a quote-unquote depth to this that FTL doesn't have. Whether I turn that into a mechanical or compelling otherwise through like vertical stacking of decks or anything, like whether I can actually make it interesting, I do like the visual for sure. Visual has driven the design a lot. Commander, you're trying to learn how to draw. Ooh, nice. I'm trying to do that as well. So I also see potentially like this maybe. No. I feel like Jonesy could also be off doing their own thing. Like there's room on the sides here for stuff to be happening, but I did want them to be kind of just... I think this reads better, even though it's sad that they're not, you know, actually close by here. I think that's maybe better. I need to fix the chair. The lighting on the chair and everything is just awful. And in fact, I need to start using some more layers. This is okay with Jonesy at her feet, but I feel like it doesn't read super strongly. But again, I can improve that with some different color choices. I really don't like the sweatpant look, though. It does help differentiate her from the background. I think the chair is a huge problem. I really want Jonesy to be like sitting with her. I really want that. I really want Jonesy to be like more like up here. But there's no way to do that that doesn't just look confusing as fuck. Like I don't see a way of doing that that reads. Partly because this is a shitty drawing of a cat. What if you don't have a collar anymore? Well, that's just confusing. I think this reads the most clearly. As far as being like, oh, that's probably a cat. And then probably what we would do here is we would tightly crop the window around this, maybe. Well, maybe not so tightly, but... For the small, we could actually, like, not have a lot going on in the background. Because there's still all this space we need to fill. Probably have the ship take up kind of like the lower section here. And then have like stellar debris and not debris, but you know, stellar nonsense in the background. Jonesy should be a new shape in every screenshot. That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. You sent me a thing. All right, Foolbox has come to the rescue. Foolbox has solved all of our problems. Oh, I love this. I'm going to share this with the class. This is genius. This isn't Pixar, but I love it. No, this is actually pretty funny. I did that as a joke earlier as I put Jonesy up on like the O or whatever, and I thought that was pretty funny. I kind of like it. I don't hate it. I think it would be hard to maintain this read as we add detail to the background. But I do like this. I do like this. I like if I can't have them closely interacting, I do want them to basically just be like staring into each other's eyes devotedly. So the closest I've gotten is this, which is inferior to your rendition, but I think is a little more extensible. I think what I really need to do is fix the chair and define the light source maybe a little better. But this is a very neat approach. I think this is good. I think that's fun. Since you want the lo-fi girl vision, you feel like doing the same setting works better. Else no one will understand. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. I like that. I think if we were doing a solid color background, I would totally do that. You are giving me an idea of like how I might light the scene though. We might still totally do like a conical light source down on the two of them from inside the ship. So there might totally be like a light source down on them, and then the rest of the cabin will be like obscured and like darker in the background. No, that's smart. The way you used consistent framing from like the lo-fi girl shot of like girl at desk, cat on table thing, lamp on table. I think this is really smart. But this is why you get paid the big bucks. And I have a day job. Okay, wait, another idea? All right. I like the lamp idea. I think I'm gonna do some kind of life source thing. You don't get paid. Look, I am not asking about your block shop money. That'll be a concern of the past. Scope Creepers is gonna do gangbusters. I know it. I can tell. I can tell. This is fun though. I think this is an okay starting point. And this is the thing for me that's so hard, is when you have this big blank canvas, how do you start? How do you start? And the answer is I don't know. I think the only thing I might be tempted to do is to move Jonesy over further, but I don't know. I don't know about that. Because I like the idea that Ripley is kind of patting Jonesy on the head. But it reads better from here. But I think that's a contrast problem. So I'm tempted to move Jonesy like this. And then just do a better job of... Because I also don't necessarily need arms on this chair, right? Like, we could do something more minimal. I mean, actually, it makes sense that there be at least an arm. Like, I could get rid of this, but keep this. And I think that's actually excusable. It actually reads okay, huh? I'm tempted to get rid of these. In which case, this would probably be the color here. Vapid, are you just planning for a Steam page for early inspiration ideas, or do you plan to launch the Steam page soon? The plan is to launch the Steam page. Here's the game plan. The game plan, and this is aggressive, and you've watched the development, so you should be as skeptical of our ability to do this as I am. But we're trying to switch from a deadline-less, open-ended development process, very systems-driven, just very pursue things as they come up. We're trying to switch into something that's a little more driven, at least for the short term, which is to get a Steam page up this quarter, Q2, so by the end of June. Then try to do a game trailer relatively soon after that, ideally by the end of Q3, and then try to get a little demo out by the end of the year. That's not, if that sounds like a lot, and it sounds like a tall order, and it sounds impossible, it's because I think it is. At least for someone with a day job. But we're gonna pursue it. We've decided to try to change. I'm trying to take an almost game jam-like attitude towards this, where we've tried to start. We call it delivering on deadline instead of delivering on scope. We've been delivering on scope. Like, you've seen the block editor tool. Like, we've gone all in on, like, we need these tools that can do all these crazy things and blah blah blah. Whereas I'm trying to switch into a very results-driven. We just need this thing that's good enough for now, and we'll circle back on it later or something or whatever. So yeah, we're trying to get the Steam page out pretty soon. In the next, I've given myself 80 days to get the Steam page up, which sounds like a long time until you look at everything that we need. You ship every scope, you don't creep. True. Okay, I think I can work with this framing. I think this is an okay initial framing. The way now what we need to do is we need to be able to get a background in here, and we need to get a ship interior and a ship exterior. I think tinting the canopy is going to be really hard without ruining this. So we probably won't have a tinted canopy, but maybe we can have some artifacts that suggest that there is a canopy. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if we're going to need to do a cutaway or if we can get away with showing from the exterior of the ship. We were DOS, but now we're DOD. That doesn't help, Rhiannon, but I appreciate it. I think just the deliver on deadline versus deliver on scope is pretty clear, pretty helpful. I think that's yet another thing that I've co-opted from Aramis. Vapid, you respect the plan? This be your first Steam release, or have you done any before? No, this will be my first Steam release. I've only shipped jam games before. So yeah, we went through, so the planning behind this has been pretty purposeful. We went through the whole store graphical assets requirements for all the different capsules and everything. We went through all of this stuff of what you need for all of these things. And we made a little to-do list with all the requirements. We did this yesterday. So we need to make this. So what we're working on right now is this capsule art. And the thing about the capsule art is it needs to capture multiple views. And so what we did is we took these different versions of the capsules. We also need to make some screenshots, which is going to be challenging considering everything we've done so far is gray boxed. So we need to make 6 pieces of art to generate 10 assets that we need for the store page. So 80 days to make 6 pieces of finished art is, I think, more. I think it's doable, but I think we're going to be pushing it. So what we've done here is you'll see I've got these semi-transparent framings. So the header capsule, the full header capsule will be this big. So Jonesy and Ripley will be a little bit, they'll still be the center, but you'll be able to see more of the ship around them and stuff, and maybe more of their cabin or whatever. I've been fixated on this small capsule frame, which is like the view when you're on the Steam page and you like hover over the game or something. So this is, but there's also a main one and a vertical one. And then there's also like a background. So we're thinking of putting the ship in the lower half and putting like a stellar scene in the upper half. So the vertical frame gets both the ship and the background. And then everything else kind of gets just the ship. And then the page background frame is just the like ambient stellar background. And I think this is pretty compelling. We just got to, you know, we're at the draw the rest of the owl stage of this piece. I think we have a good idea. Now we just need to draw the rest of the fucking owl. Hey, Nix, thanks for the hydrate. Welcome back. I think we've got the small capsule framing figured out. It's going to be Jonesy getting pets from Ripley. And we'll just try to build out more of the cabin behind her. And then some of the exterior ship around her. Gotta create... oh, nope. I already read that. But yeah. So we need to rework... I think the chair shape is good. I think I need to rework some of the contrast. Because, like, these little accents, I don't think read at all now. Maybe they do. These still do anything for me? I guess a little. Looks like she has a slim crop top on. Yeah, that's been our favorite of these outfits so far. Oh god. The sweatpants was such a mistake. But there's a bunch of different versions of her outfit. I kind of like this one. I kind of like this version of the outfit. I like this version less. I like the stripes. I like the crop top the best, but there's a number of outfits that I've thought of that are just recolors. I like the boots. I want to add the boots to all these. Not with the fur. Yeah, the sweatpant gray was like such a misjudgment. Such a bad call. What did I change from this? I don't think I changed anything for Jonesy. I love Jonesy. I can't wait to do more drawings of Jonesy, especially maybe some weird like animated smears or like weird little shape-shifting things. All right, so we got another piece from Foolbox. You tried a couple stuff. All right, thanks Foolbox. I appreciate the group, the group effort. Nix, you're back. Your concert went great. You got a great many patches. Nice, nice. She needs a new name. What, Ripley? Britney Spears. That's crazy. Yeah, there's gonna be different characters. Like, we're gonna have like a Dave Bowman and like different sci-fi characters. So would I actually like this version of the outfit? I should go for that color. Like, I like this version of the outfit too. I just feel like we lose some of the gender characterization without the crop top. Like, I feel like that's like cheap. That feels like a cheap way to do it, but I'm just calling it like I sees it. Okay, I don't like what I've accidentally done here. Maybe it's okay. I ended up with like a curl chair here. Dave Bowie. No, David Bowman. Dave Bowman. Dave Bowman, not David Bowie. Although David Bowie would be a good idea. This guy, Commander Dave Bowman from 2001. He's totally going to just be wearing this the whole time as well. He'll be just a character who's always in his spacesuit. All right, let's look at what Foolbox graciously made for us. Yeah, we're definitely going to have Dave Bowman just in his red spacesuit. I'm sorry, Dave, I can't let you do that. Brutal. Ooh, yeah, I like this. I like this. I like this Foolbox. That's what your thing made me think of. Your suggestion made me think of doing something like this. You got there first. I think this will be the lighting model. I think it will be very clearly. So I should recolor the chair with this lighting model in mind. But I think it will very clearly be the two of them lit in the foreground, and then all of the stuff in the background of their cabin will be like in shadow or something. Like, I think this is a good idea to get kind of the focus onto them. I just can't do it with like a flat background because it won't work for our purpose. But that's a really good idea. I think you're on the right track. I like that lighting as well. You should animate Ripley, have the last pixel of her hand go up and down on top of the cat's head. That's a really good idea too. But this is for a capsule image. It's not going to be animated. But that'd be funny as like the intro to a trailer or something. What do we got going? No, I think yours turned out great. Foolbox. You're thinking the cat could be on a console on the left, like the desk in the Lo-Fi Girl idea. I really want to do that. I think if I had more room, I would do that. Vapid, so the version of the game you're working on right now will be some sort of chill Euro truck in space sort of game? Yes. Are you planning on then expanding the same engine you build for the FTL-like game? Exactly. That's the idea. That's the idea. Because the problem with this And the problem with strategy games in general is that strategy games don't really come together until all of the systems are done. And to do all of the systems to do what we have in mind for the full version of this game would be, you know, another like 5 or 6 years of development. Just to get to the point where we can, you know, have people playing it and stuff. Like, that's my, having already worked on this for a couple years, I feel like that's an unrealistic estimate of how long it would take, probably like 6+ years. But the idea is that if we do this small version of the game, we can maybe get some interest. We can at least get a vibe check of whether or not people are even interested in this kind of thing. And then we can maybe get interest. We can maybe get some money. Because if I could go, you know, if I could spend more time working on this and less time doing day job stuff. So yeah, we're changing gears, and we're going to work on this for the next, you know, couple of years probably. But a release in 2 years is better than a release in 6 years. Right? Then we can at least try to get something happening. Can you make a suggestion? You might not like it. I would prefer if people only made suggestions I don't like. Because then I can turn it around into something that I like. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm clearly kind of burnt out for today. But I think I really actually appreciate all the active feedback and suggestions you're making. But yeah, hit me full box. Hit me right in the face with your suggestion that I won't like. Hitman. Do it. Okay, I've lost it. I've lost the thread. You got to bounce next. Can't you have an animated title screen? Yes, but this is not the title screen. This is the capsule art for the Steam page. You would love if there was a small chance to have a fight where the weapons guy isn't there. It's just cat dog blinking different lights on a console. It would be really funny. That's actually a really good idea. It would be really funny if Jonesy could like has like a random chance to like man a console. That would be very funny. Maybe I do like this. No. I gotta recolor this whole chair. Figure out this chair situation. Full box, keep the capsule art, that's good. But for the title, you need to ditch the pixel art or make it so small pixels it doesn't look pixel art at low resolution. If you look at every pixel art game out there, none of them use pixel font or it's barely noticeable. But you're talking about, so you're talking about in the game, right? You're not saying I should switch the title to a non-pixel art font. You're saying in the game, I should not use this. I should not use the sweet DI font. Okay, so you're saying in the capsule, I should not use the DI font. In the game, you can use it. Interesting. That's the opposite of what I would have expected. Because I think in the game, I agree with you. Well, I agree with what I thought you were saying, which is I don't think I can use that font in the game. I think it'd be too hard. I think in the game, I would be tempted to use something like Silver or some other kind of font, something that actually has like localization support and is like, because the UI should be at native resolution. It shouldn't be at viewport resolution, right? So like I should use a better font in the game. You can use it in the game as long as you have a fallback. Yeah, for like accessibility reasons and stuff. I'm tempted to use something like Silver. I don't know exactly about Silver. I need to reach out to them and ask them what they want in terms of like a license. You use Silver? Yeah, I'm a little concerned about this license deal here, but because like my concern is that I use it, then I make 100 grand, and then I come to them and be like, all right, I made 100 grand. What do you want? What do you want for a license? And they're like, we want 50 grand. And it's like, well, now I have to rip it out of the game. It's just attribution. No. It says if you make more than 100 grand, you need to license the font. It says 100K production or earnings. And I know the likelihood that I make 100K in earnings is very low, but I just would hate to use this and then have to rip it out. And I don't know. I could read their actual license. They probably have an actual license file that might look different. Asset license. Yeah, the asset license is this, and I don't know if this would actually hold up compared to the actual language of the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International. But I don't know. I have a little discomfort with this in particular. But this idea of using a real font, I agree with. That's true, Nix, if they're reasonable. If they were like, oh, we just want a $1,000 license or something, I'd be like, that's fine. If they're like, we want 2.5% of the gross for 3 years, I'd be like, if they say anything like that, I would be like, if it's anything other than a flat fee for a lifetime license, I would not use this. But I'm sure they're reasonable. I hope that they're reasonable. But you should never make a business decision based on hope. Anyway, we've gotten way off topic, which is that because I don't think I can actually use this font in-game. And in fact, I think I actually need to make a in-perspective version of this font because I mainly want to use this font to like plaster it on the side of like the ship or something. So I actually need a version of this font that's in diametric perspective, and that's something I need to make. Hey, Dunkel Growl. That might be uncool. You recently created a free tool to create bitmap font files. Ooh. That sounds cool. Welcome into the chat. You could link it, or if you're more comfortable pasting it somewhere else, you could also check out our Discord. Share it there. It sounds like this is something you made, which is really cool. Vapid, you gotta sleep. Good luck. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for this super message, or whatever this is. Appreciate that. It's just a comment. I've never seen like a super chat in YouTube before. That's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. We do have memberships on YouTube. Not you. You're Vapid. You're good. But I'm just saying. we added it recently. For anyone in the VODs. Think about it. Okay, I'm done shilling. Yeah, I don't know, Foolbox. I think I understand your argument. Like, I was looking at the cast and chill capsule art, which I think is like nearly perfect. Yeah, I don't know about the silver thing. I'm a little. But yeah, so what you want is you don't want the pixel art thing. And I think I understand why your argument about it. Oh, Dunkelgaru, Dunkelbrow, sorry. It was hard to pronounce. But yeah, Cast and Chill I think is great. Because for one thing, it's like one of the most beautiful pixel art games I've ever seen. But I think they do something really interesting with their capsule art, which is, for one thing, it's not in their side-on perspective, right? And it's not really pixel art, but it suggests that it's pixel art. Like, if you look at the Cast and Chill pixel art, you can tell, or capsule art, you can kind of tell that it's going to be a pixel art game. But it's, like, way higher resolution than, like, their actual characters, right? So, like, it suggests pixel art while still being, like, really high resolution. I think that's awesome. I think this is like one of the best capsule arts I've ever seen for that reason. I think it even looks pretty good in the small version. But yeah, I get what you're saying. And that's actually a concern I have with my capsule art, is getting it to look crisp. But at the same time, this title is in the same resolution as the background art, and I kind of like that. I kind of like it. The large one is 2x2. so it's a bit bigger. I understand when you say nobody does this, but maybe I'm nobody. I get it. I get it. All right. See you next. All right. The bitmap font creator. Made by guy in the chat, Dunkelgrau. This looks sick. Oh, this is cool. So this is kind of like, it's a little like pixel. What's that type? What's the pixel thing that I use? I actually don't remember what it's called. Type something, font something. What did I use to make my font? Font Forge, maybe? No, I don't remember. But yeah, I've used some of the. I don't think it was Font Forge. I think it was something else. This is cool. Oh, you got kerning. This looks sick. I'll watch the video of it maybe at some point here. This is great. Bitmap font creator is a semi-opinionated. I love that, semi-opinionated. Maybe I am nobody. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, KCOG. That's my approach whenever I do something that's like not the. Whenever I take the path less traveled or whatever. Bitmap font creator is a semi-opinionated tool to create bitmap fonts. Angel code format. The tool is designed to create pixel fonts and to export images that can easily be edited by other drawing applications. Tools made in Godot. Hell yes. So the font that are shown in the preview will be the same in your Godot project. Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool. I should probably recreate my font in this file. It's a bitmap font, so you don't get a TTF or whatever they're called. You don't get a true type font file out of it, but that's fun. Oh, limited known issues. The tool exported a bitmap font. Oh, it cannot open TT or export TTF or OTF yet. Bitmap font FNT file. I've never worked with an FNT file. This is cool. I'm gonna check this out. I'm gonna definitely check this out. Follow you. I am going to add this to my oh, I don't have a collection. I followed you. That should help. I'm also gonna bookmark this. This is awesome. Thank you for sharing this. Pretty random that you popped in as we were talking about bitmap pixel fonts. What kind of other stuff do you work on? Oh, you got some good stuff. Oh, I like your PSX style approach here. Well, I'm going to go through these later. This looks good. Grau. Solo developer using Godot. Well, I am very pleased to have met you. I'm going to check out these projects later. I'm going to go check out dunkelgrau.h.io. It's spelled like it sounds. That's super cool. Fullbox, the only way you would see it work is if you put a shader on top to soften it a little. We'll definitely do some kind of post-processing over the whole thing. I don't know. Part of the reason I'm doing this at this scale is so that when I export it, so like this is, so the way I've set up the small capsule area, I've set it up to be 40 by 15. Dunkel streams too? Oh my god. Follow. Shout out. That's awesome. Nice to meet you. But yeah, I picked this so that this is 3x. This is a third of the resolution that the smallest export of the small capsule would be 120/45. And it's just an attempt at retaining my pixel art crispness in the capsule, which I get is non-orthodox. It's not an orthodox way of doing it, but I think I'm gonna do it anyway. I know that the large font is not at the same resolution as the drawing. It's actually double. I acknowledge that doing this is questionable and not the orthodox or correct way to do it. I do acknowledge that. And it might be a mistake. But yeah, we might be able to filter it. Yeah, thank you for sharing it. Thank you for sharing it, Crow. That was awesome. Well, we did one thing. We made the framing for the small capsule, which actually doesn't feel like nothing, considering I didn't think we'd have anything. I thought I would just be scribbling the background of the cabin the whole day. But, frick the correct way to do stuff. Your pixel art's all weird. It comes out nice. Yeah. I don't know. I am coming around to the reality that I shouldn't use this font probably in the game because my UI should be at native resolution, regardless of whatever my viewport resolution is. So I know I need to do something else for that. And I already mentioned that I really want to make an in perspective version of this font so that I could like slap it on the side of a ship for the art. You did not tell me you got into the crunchy pixel fest. Your pixels are not crunchy. I don't know about that. I think your pixels are pretty crunchy. When is the Crunchy Pixel Festival? Is that a Steam festival? When is that going to be? Four days left, 6 weeks ago. Oh, this is coming up. That's awesome. August? Hell yes. That's great. You got in there with Block Shop, or is it going to be, or are they putting in like did you get in with like the demo for Scope Creepers? Scope Creep? Okay. Yeah, because Block Shop is not really pixel. It's more vector, isn't it? I don't remember. Shows what I know. It is pixel? Okay. It's so smooth. In my mind's eye, I'm picturing like perfect like vector art. Maybe because it's all control nodes or whatever. Scope Creep got a publisher? Oh my god. That's amazing. That's crazy. That's really great. I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased for you. That's part of the reason why I want to drill down and just get Lo-Fi Flyby up, get the Steam page up, get people to figure it out, get it, and then get it out the doors. I'm thinking about my bigger game and like the, 6+ years I've still got to work on it. Probably longer if I take this sojourn, this side quest. That probably is going to turn into like 7 or 8 years. But I'm like, man, I need some incremental gains here. But that's awesome. Congratulations. I'm very pleased. I know I always say that in like perfect deadpan, but I am. I'm seriously thrilled. Okay, so when we come back, and maybe I'll work on this a little bit, but no promises. I think maybe I'll try to sketch out a framing. So we're gonna start working on drawing the rest of the owl. Because we've got our small capsule, but we're gonna need to do also these don't need to be exactly like this, but like I could see the header capsule being pretty tight. So like for the large logo, the header capsule probably be something. Oops. Probably be something like this. Right. Probably do something like this. Maybe not exactly this, but you know, something like this. Probably even do something bigger where you can see more of the ship. Maybe not though. But yeah, the small capsule will be this one. Be like this. I think this is right. Figure it out. You have a freaking monster of a contract to read, though? Yeah, I bet. It's a good problem to have, but I'm sure that's a lot. But yeah, okay, so we did something. We framed our small capsule. We need to draw the rest of the owl. Still. Because we still need, you know, the vertical capsule, page background, everything. So we'll be drawing the ship down here. Some shit in the back, like some stellar shit. Some stars and planets and shit back here. I think this will be good. I think we'll incidentally answer a lot of art direction questions, making this finished piece of art that we would not have answered otherwise. Probably need to hire a lawyer. You should probably hire a lawyer. I know some game lawyers. I know a game lawyer, but I don't know if they specialize in Canadian law. I mean, I know they don't. They live in like, I'm not gonna say where they live, but they're American, so I don't know if I have a recommendation for you. But that's awesome. I'm very excited for you. Can't wait to see Scope Creepers come out. You're part of the video game guild over there? Nice, nice. Yeah, get a guild lawyer. Don't cross the guild. They might chop off your hands or something. Don't cross the guild. All right. We're rating out, right? I think it's time. Who's streaming? Poolbox isn't. Big Boy's on. Captain Coder's on. Hypnotic's on. It looks like Big Boy might have just started. Let's see what Big Boy's doing. Yeah, Big Boy's getting started. Yeah, let's raid out here. This was pretty good. This was surprisingly productive. Surprisingly productive Saturday stream. I have to double check every single raid type in I do now, because ever since I accidentally raided Adagon instead of Adagon Dev, I'm so paranoid about doing that again. Yeah, this was great. I appreciate everyone for their input, for their support, for their criticism, for their just batshit ideas. We'll be back on Tuesday. Appreciate everyone here on Twitch, over on the YouTube. Had a lot of activity in the YouTube chat, which is nice to see. Yeah, we'll be back soon. We're sticking with the plan. We're gonna get this Steam page up in the next 80 days. We gotta make this capsule. We gotta make some screenshots. We gotta do the work. We're gonna ship it. Raiding out. Get ready, Magoo. Maximum Warp. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, or weekend even. And I will see you all next time. Bye.